Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time on this channel, you're welcome. I am A.H.P. I'm an author and I also do business. Now today's video is basically for that part of my channel where we talk about real life issues. And what are we talking about today? We are talking about food poverty. Yes, you heard right, food poverty. Now when you think of food poverty, you probably think of places like, I don't know, African countries like Ethiopia. You're probably thinking of Haiti. You're probably thinking of those places, Asia or war-torn places. However, do you actually know that there is food poverty even in the UK? And equally, there is food poverty in the USA. Do you know? That is why they have things like food banks, and in the USA, that's for the UK, and in the US, they have feeding programs. Okay, feeding programs, and places where like shelters where they go and um, like serve food and all of that kind of stuff. And even in the UK, we have shelters where people sleep, and they also have food served to them sometimes. You know. So that is the reason why I am coming here to just share something that, you know, God just showed me like about a year, for a very long time. Like he's been showing me the issue of food poverty, but recently he gave me the solution, and that is through agriculture. The solution to food poverty is actually empowering the people who are experiencing this poverty, to learn how to grow their own food. I remember I'll never forget, this was 2016, and I remember I was out and about, and you know, doing an interview for my book, Take Off the Mask, We Used to Pretend In. And literally, I met a guy who I've never seen again, and he sat down with me and he did an interview. Uh, and I am so gutted that that interview, what's it called, ended up like being deleted and all of that. But he was basically from Kenya, uh, but he's based in Sweden, and he was talking about every time he goes back to Kenya, he tells the people in Kenya, like, look, you can grow your own food. All you need to do is have some seeds, um, pour it on the floor, on the ground, water it, and that is it. Like your vegetables will grow, your fruits will grow, and all of that, and you just watch it flourish, and you just look after it, and then you harvest. And then because he travels frequently in the UK, he said he always asks himself the question, why can't the UK government plant fruits and food that people can get, harvest for free, and um, you know, stop this food poverty instead of growing flowers. You know, all around the UK in summertime, you will see flowers like everywhere. They grow flowers in the UK. Like even on my road, like they grow flowers and they pay people to water these flowers and all of that. And of course, I get it. Like you have to make your scenery beautiful and all of that kind of stuff, because most trees are cut down in the UK. So the government tries as much as possible to create like greenery, to give good views and all of that in the cities and in the towns. However, that got to me, like I was like, wow, it makes sense. And it was like, you know, it's the children who suffer, and it's true, because you look on the news, and you know, local news that comes up is children who, like if they're not in school recently because of the pandemic, they weren't able to go to school, and these parents were like, how are we going to be able to feed our children? Normally we take them to school because school will actually feed them like breakfast, lunch, and even in the evening times some nurseries give them what they call tea, which is basically a snack and something to drink, which is normally heavy enough for them to be able to go home. And then when they go home, they have like nothing much to eat because of this poverty, food poverty. And so they were like, what are we going to do, now that the children are not in school? And I would hate to think what children who are in families that are considered to be suffering food poverty, like what they're going through at this particular moment, because we're even right now in a lockdown as we speak, and schools are not yet open. So I can just about imagine. But the solution, what is the solution? Whether you're in the USA, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Asian countries, or you're in the UK, it's agriculture. Learn the learn about the food. The average UK person doesn't know where food comes from. Like they don't know. Like you ask them, like where does your food come from? They wouldn't even know. They just think it's supermarkets. But they don't know the process of growing food. Like the process of where food comes from. They can't tell you the average, and these are adults. I'm not talking about children. These are adults, like, and you're just like, wow, you're shocked. Like I get shocked because although I'm based in the UK, I'm from Uganda. For us, agriculture is you live and breathe agriculture. Uganda, we live on agriculture. Like agriculture is the predominant business in Uganda. So when you grow up, like when you become of age, you've become of age when they give you a plot, okay? A little, whether it's a small plot like this, the size of this room, and you tell that's your plot. You learn whatever you want to grow on that plot. It's your business. Like you grow, you eat it, you eat. During harvest time, you harvest, you share with the whole family. Um, if you want to sell some, you can sell some, get your school fees and all of that kind of stuff. So that is where my passion for agriculture comes from, and my knowledge of agriculture comes from a very young age. Like both my mother and father's side, like we're into agriculture. So that is one thing I don't remember lacking. I don't remember lacking food. Like when I was younger, food is something that we didn't lack, okay, because of agriculture. So when I came to the UK, and sometimes you meet mothers and they're coming to me, some of them, like, and they're like, I don't have food for my child, da, 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 give me food. Like I just didn't understand, like it boggled my mind, because even when I came to this country, as I grew older, my stepmom taught us how to buy food in bulk. So if I don't have anything else in my house, best believe there is food, you know. Thank God, God has given me extra wisdom to now know how to stock other things, things like toiletries and all of that kind of stuff. So when you don't have money readily like that, you have all these things available to you and for your children. So, so after that interview, the following day, God gave me these pointers, like called wisdom for living. Wisdom for living. I'll share that in another video. But literally, I began to see in dreams, because that's how partially how God speaks to me, and I began to see, like, people suffering, like in the UK. He showed me like different countries, okay, like portions of different countries around the world, and that included UK. And he showed me like the people hungry, like in their houses in the UK and all of that stuff, hungry. And then he showed me like the field, like massive field, and in this field, like there's food in this field, you know, there's crops that I had just grown and fruit trees, and I was plucking these fruit trees, fruits from these trees and all of that stuff. Then it showed me like an African country, and and you know, these people just sat on their beds and they're hungry. But then it showed me like a massive field, and in this field there are people harvesting, and there are also like fruit trees, like different kinds of fruits, you name it, oranges, mangoes, bananas, all the fruits that grows in African countries. He showed me those on like one tree, and then he showed me like papaya trees and all of these kind of trees, and then it showed me things like sugar cane and all of that, and onions, and this was consecutive. And when I wake up, I knew exactly what it is that it was trying to show me. And I'll go back to sleep again, and another night, and it will show me something else, you know, like how to preserve it. I don't know in your country how you preserve food, but um, in the UK we normally just use like pantries, okay? Pantries like this, okay? Um, but I have some at the bottom here, okay? See, pantries. But in African countries um, we have some made out of reeds, and it reminds me of the story of Joseph, where there was famine, and you know, Pharaoh had dreamed, and there was going to be a famine like for 7 years, and Joseph told them what to do. Like God gave Joseph the revelation to store food during their time of plenty, when they had more more food that they could eat. That's when they stored up the food for the times that they wouldn't have food. And so God showed me, I remember like God showed me in this vision, um, it was the harvesting season, and then the people were hungry, and then he showed me the storage. And in my country we call it dare in my language, and it's made out of reeds. Basically it's a storehouse. And I remember as a child we used to, um, because my granddad from my mom's side was into agriculture, we used to store food in that particular in that particular the storehouse. You know, it was just made of the reeds, and then covered and all of that stuff, so you can go in and out to get food stuff. And what we would do is dry the food and then put it in there so that they wouldn't get spoiled. Things like corn, things we call it maize, but things like corn, things like beans, things like you know, vegetables and all of that. We would do that, and things like rice, okay, we would have them all stocked up, yeah. So that is what God reminded me in the vision, and I was just like, wow, you know. So the, that is the same technique. And then I saw like in this country, what I saw was literally the vegetables, and God reminded me again that you put it on a surface, and when the sun comes out, it dries it, you know, it dries it, and things like this, you store them. And that is how I began to create. These are my own herbs, you know, like from last year. These are from last year. Okay, imagine these are from last year. I've used up most of the jars I've got. I've got only like 3 jars left. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start doing it again, like in this summer that is coming, literally. But ways to preserve food, guys. Ways to preserve food. You know. learn to grow food that grows in your country. So in the UK, I started, because I'm based in the UK, like from 2019, I started like learning how to grow food, like what food. I'm not ashamed to stop somebody in the supermarket and say, you know what are the fruits that grows in this country? And they'll tell me, they'll show me that this fruit comes from this country, this comes from this country, and that comes from this country, like meaning the UK. Okay, because in agriculture you grow based on the climate of your country, okay, where it thrives the most. So things like kale, okay, so I'm going to be sowing things like kale so I can have vegetables, you know, in March, okay. And you can sow this indoors. So if you don't, even if you don't have a garden like myself, you can grow them in pots, okay, pots. And all the instructions are at the back. How much did I pay for this? What, 25p? 25 pence. Okay. Um, you know, this one, no, this one 99 pence. Okay. This is less than a pound. Less than a pound. But I'm gonna, like, by the time I grow this, I have like 4 of these pots. That is a big harvest. Like, when it's growing, it's a big harvest. When I grow this, it's like big, a big pot like this. And you take throughout the summer, like you'd be eating this, okay. I grow things like parsley to season my food, 99p, okay. You can grow this. You can decide that you're going to grow half of it, and then half of it by the end of the year, so the whole year you have stuff, you know, food to eat. Things like mustard, okay. This 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 little sachet, like for 50 pence, yeah, I'm able to grow like 10 pots, like 20 pots like this, okay, depending on how much you put in each pot. But it's loads of seeds in there. There's loads of seeds in there, okay. There's 1,200 seeds in here. 1,200 seeds. Do you know how much coffee is going to give you? And you can eat that. Like right now, I've planted some that have just germinated, and I harvested some and I cooked. You can follow me on A.H.P food store and you see how I've made it. But like literally, I harvested a whole bowl and I cooked. And I've just planted some more, which have just germinated, and I'm leaving them for a bit to continue growing, and then I'll harvest it again. Things like what? Things like your you know, lettuce. Lettuce. Okay, I bought this from a magazine, but £1.30 you can get lettuce. And there's 1,000 seeds in here, approximately. There could be more than 1,000. So things like that. Celery, okay, for your salads. Again, 99 pence. How many seeds are in there? 1,070 seeds in there. And you can start growing this inside the house in pots like this. Tomatoes. Tomatoes, guys. Tomatoes. How many seeds are in there? 40 seeds. And the good thing about tomatoes, yeah, let me tell you something. The good thing about tomatoes, you can even eat the leaves. So you have the fruit and then you have the leaves. Cumin for your seasoning, okay? What else? Yeah? So you learn. There's things like cress. You can make stew out of your mustard. You can make stews out of your cress. You can make sandwiches, salads. You can make vegetable sauce out of your tomato greens. There's so much. There is so much that you can learn, grow, and eat. Have food to eat, and then you just top it up. You know, if you're in the UK, a lot of these families that experience food poverty in the UK, they actually get benefits, government benefits. So use that little bit of that money to invest and get some seeds, okay, and then you get the rest. Food, dry food, things like a bulk of rice, a bulk of pasta, um, you know, and stock up and stock up. But these are things that I feel like is not passed on to onto these generation in the UK specifically now. It's not passed on to them. So they don't know, they're oblivious to life, living life, a way of life, you know? And so they like just hand to mouth, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. And I remember I was speaking to a family support worker, and I said to her, she's a young girl, younger than me, and I said to her, like, how comes people like are just in this cycle in the UK? People on benefits. It's just like a lot of them are just in this cycle where mom, dad went through it, then you know they go through it, then they go through it, then and she was like, it's because they're not taught any better. And it's true, if you don't teach people any better, if you don't empower people to know how to live life better, they'll always be in that cycle. You raise a generation that same way, and that generation will raise another generation that same way, you know? And for me personally, now I've got to the point where, thank God, I'm coming out of the benefit system, but that is because God like just placed wisdom to know what to do, you know, and then I execute it, you know, and then having people in my life who will speak to me and say, you know what, Annie, you can do this, do this, do this, do this to come out of this. You know, when I started growing my own food, people were laughing at me. And people will laugh at you because you're doing something different. They're like, why are you growing your own food? People were laughing at me. But I knew, like, eventually I'm going to be having the last laugh. Because because of growing my own food, guys, literally, because of growing my own food and storing them up, yeah, I have, by the end of the year, the end of the month, not even the end of the year, on a weekly basis, I have money to invest into my business. Aside from growing food, I have money to invest in my businesses. This is the way I manage to invest in my books. Okay, I have over 23 books, coming to 30, if not already 30. Okay, books that I manage to invest in. Okay, that's the way I'm able to invest, be on benefits and still invest. You know, because I don't want to live on benefits for the rest of my life. I don't want my children growing on benefits for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? And what else? That is the same way I'm able to invest in my clothing line. Yeah, that is the same way I'm able to invest into my online stores now, where I can sell all these products. Okay, to people, and people are like, but you're clearly on benefit, like how are you able to manage? It's because the money that I'll be using on buying fresh vegetables every week, okay, I don't have to, because I have seeds. I've grown them. I have vegetables. Whatever vegetable I want, I'll grow it, and I'll eat the one that is grown. Things like mustard grows within 5 days. 5 days I have vegetables if I want to eat mustard. If I want to cook something that has greens in it, vegetables in it, just grow mustard. 5 days. If I don't want mustard, grow cress. 5 days equally. Cress would have grown. Let me show you cress. press somewhere. But things like lemon balm, you can grow lemon balm, okay? £1. Lemon balm. That will give you tea. You have tea. Lettuce. You have salad. Sweet peppers, you grow them. Okay? By July, you're harvesting. You can do stir fries. You can make stews with it. Jollof rice. All these things. Yeah? So guys, if you have a garden, a back garden, use it to grow your own food. If you have space but you don't have garden, get planting pots. Learn online. Everything is online. You have no excuse. If you have internet, you know. If you don't have internet, go somewhere where they have Wi-Fi. Learn and do that. You know, and learn how to grow your own food. That is it, guys. If you have any questions to do with growing food, put it in the comment section and I'll respond accordingly. However, that is it. I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye.